Do you know that 1.3 million women enter menopause each year? 1.3 million women enter menopause each year. Menopause is not an old lady thing, so if you think that your life is over just because you entered menopause, I'm here to tell you, honey child, you are so wrong. We've been talking about living vibrantly during menopause and beyond. That's what we're talking about today, and I'm Bette Vargas. Thank you so much for joining me today. Menopause signals the end of your reproductive years, not the end of your life. There are some who choose to focus on the negative aspects of this natural transition, but here at Crazy Sexy Menopause, we're here to say you have plenty of vibrant life left ahead of you. I am hearing something really strange going on. I don't know what it is, but I'm just going to keep going. Okay, I am here to introduce, and menopause is, and speaking of living life vibrantly, I am thrilled to have my guest speaker, master coach, facilitator, and educator, Janis Richman. Janis Richman has been helping individuals, groups, and corporate clients master the process of positive change for over 30 years. To say that Janis is a transformational coach barely scratches the surface of how she shows up in the world. Her passion is teaching people, especially women, how to unlock their true potential, achieve outrageous success, and live the life they love. She is a certified dream builder coach from the Life Mastery Institute, a certified conscious aging facilitator from the Institute of Noetic Science, and a licensed spiritual practitioner from the Centers for Spiritual Living. And she is a postmenopausal woman. She is the founder of Continuum Coaching and Consulting. Her motto is, "Let's transform your dreams into reality." Janis, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is really, really a pleasure and exciting.
You're very welcome. It is a joy to have you here with us today. So, as you know, Crazy Sexy Menopause is dedicated to helping peri and postmenopausal women live more vibrantly. But I find that many menopausal women labor under the assumption that their best days are behind them and that vibrant living is a dim, receding concept at best. What's been your menopause journey? And as a transformational coach, what do you think vibrant living means for the menopausal woman?
Well, if I was going to tell you that this is the best time of my life, and I'll be 75 in
Yes.
December. And
Beautiful.
if I could maintain this mentality and go back, I would. Otherwise, I never would go back, because right now I'm living the best life ever. I'm having more fun and less anxiety and less of all the stuff that being growing up had brought. But now I find that as I'm moving through and aging consciously, I'm having a ball, and it's really, really easy to lose sight when you're going through menopause. And I went through it early. I had perimenopause when I was about 41, and I was done by the time I'm 45. And so at that point, for me to think that my life was over, I'm glad that I didn't go that way. What I really did was kept up with and never lost sight of my goals and my passions. because what I saw, and I had a lot of really good coaches around this, is that menopause is something that you're going through. It's not the end, but it's part of the journey to get where we are. So whenever I was in
Yes.
the middle of it, I'd be able to think, this is what it looks like to get to where I want to be, which isn't always easy. So I had lots of tools around me, affirmations, stickies all over the mirrors, remembering who I was, um, being able to keep a sense of humor around it. And at that time, I was 45. I was working as a technology trainer and in IT. So I had a lot of men around me. I was basically the
Mm.
only female
Wow.
in that group, in that unit. And what I did is I just told them all what was going on, so that
Nice.
they understand what was happening, so that if I had to get up and mop up and then come back, um, we had a sense of humor about it, and they understood. So I wasn't embarrassed. I didn't feel guilty. And I was able to move through it with self confidence.
So you were helping them how to, you were teaching them how to be with their significant others and wives.
Yeah. But again, I always seem to be like 10 years older than everybody. It just always seemed that way in life. It's like my friends were always 10 years older. The people I was working with, my bosses were 10 years younger. So they were learning from me. I was the wise one that was taking them through that.
Yes.
But I'm glad I was able to do that.
Beautiful. Now you said that you went through it early. You were natural. It was a natural menopause.
It was natural menopause, and I really don't know. My mother had a hysterectomy, probably in her late 40s. My sister had one, so really I didn't have any idea of what might be a pattern. But all
Hmm.
I knew is that at 41 I started to feel strange, and by the time I was 45, I was done. But I was, at that time, I was with a partner who was very understanding. And I did lose my libido for a little while, but it comes back. Don't worry,
Do
it comes
tell, do
back.
tell.
Don't
Say
worry.
more about that.
So, yeah, yeah, I mean, you're not, believe me, you're not dead at 75.
I love that.
So
Now,
yeah,
no, go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh,
Oh,
I would.
I was just going to say that was a big deal, because there was, there's some shame attached to not feeling sexual. Um, there's a tendency to want to wear sweats rather than getting dressed, and all of those things. I knew that in order for me to not buy into what that meant, I got dressed up every morning. I went out. I didn't wear sweats. I just made sure that I was not going to buy into life is over. I'm old.
I love that. I absolutely love that because that's what the perception is. I
Yeah.
remember when I was in my 40s, I was running with one of my children's teammates, and I asked him to give me a lift home. And so in the car we were talking, and he asked me what my age was, and I told him I think I was like 45 or 47, something like that. And he looked at me and he said, "You're what?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "What did you expect me to look like?" My children were basically his age. And so he said, "Oh, I don't know, with the," and he did that. And I was
Yeah.
like, "No, that's not what aging or midlife looks like." So, there is this perception, and I'm glad that I'm not alone and that you are in that club of looking vibrant all the time. And I would tell people I'm not supposed to look as old as I am, whatever that means.
I forget. Sometimes I forget how old I am.
Mm.
And it's kind of like I'm surprised when I hear the number. So it's something. And
Yes.
I cherish, though, is sometimes I don't go around telling everybody how old I am,
Right.
but when I do, I give it as a gift. And
Yes.
it's usually to someone who's going through 40s and 50s, and they're saying, I'm aging. I look in the mirror, my life is over, and I go, girl, you're not.
Exactly.
So it's my
Ex-
gift. Yeah.
yes, exactly. Now, did you gain weight? Did you have any of the symptoms, or did you have a special diet or anything that you did? Spill the tea.
Yeah, I did have to work with my weight, and I especially salt intake for me, because so I didn't get bloated. But I didn't really go on much of a special diet other than keeping my salt intake low. But what I did do is I did a hell of a lot of acupuncture. I didn't do HRT, and that was a very conscious decision for me. I was,
Mm-hmm.
my gynecologist wanted me to do it, and I said, I'm gonna do it a different way. I took supplements. Vitex is something that I used as well, which is it's a tonic that
Okay.
yeah, that I use. What else? I made sure that I didn't miss my exercise and my dance, even when I didn't want to go. I would push myself, because movement was something that, especially when I'm in dance or when I'm in meditation, there's that place that I go to where I'm not even in my body anymore. Although it feels that way, I feel like I'm just connected with the one. And by
Yeah, in the flow.
continuing in the flow and being able to connect with the things that I loved to do. So I kept lists of things you don't forget. You love to do these things, and to be able to move myself enough to look. First of all, you have to read it if you're going to um, write it down. But I also had a vision statement, which
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing a vision. Well, at that time I had a vision statement, and I've been doing it for all this time. Is something that I read every single day, even now, that keeps me connected to those things that I would love to be, and
Mm-hmm.
those things I have, and those things I'd love to do. And so it's the consistency of reading it, and the consistency of having, well, my spiritual practice, that keeps me in the flow. So I
Mm-hmm.
think, as much as we may get up, and it's really hard to get out of bed, and we got to change the sheets because we're all sweaty, and we're thinking that this is something that makes us less attractive. To be able to know that this too shall pass, and these are the things that I want to have in my life, and I deserve to have them.
I love that. I absolutely love that, because there's so many women who have who have no boundaries, and then they are subject to the whims of whomever, whenever, and wherever. And so to have those specifics in mind of who you are, and what you stand for, and who you are in the world, and how you be, is just extremely, extremely important. And that brings me to another question that I've had conversations with many women over the years who, in their early years, made a conscious decision to not have children, and they've had to endure questions and critiques and criticisms from friends and relatives regarding their choice. And you're one of those women, in terms of not deciding not to have children. Did you second guess your decision not to have them? And when you were entering perimenopause, and how did you resolve that in your mind, that it was the right decision for you? And what would you say to women who are facing this crossroads right now?
I always knew that I didn't want to have children. I just didn't have the maternal instinct. I knew that. So it was something that, even when I was a kid, my dolls were career women. So it's like they weren't me. But I knew that I definitely, I was just not. I didn't feel like it was something that I wanted to do. But when the one time that I had like a nanosecond of like, was after I had menopause and I knew no longer had a choice. The people that we were hanging out with, the couples that my partner and I were hanging out with, were about 10 years younger than us, and they were starting to have kids. And so my first reaction was, I no longer have a choice. Well,
Hmm.
so it was only in that moment that that it's kind of like it was no longer my choice, but it really was. It was just a moment of, did I do the right thing? And other than curiosity, wondering what my children would have been like, or that kind of imagination of, if I had a little girl, what would she be like now, or a little boy. Other than that, I've never regretted it. And what's interesting is that um, I have a group of women that I'm very close with. We call ourselves the Bindi sisters, and three, and none of us have had kids. And then in my small group at work, only one person had children, and that was John, and all the other women did not have children. So it was something that, especially now, I don't find it unusual for me to be with women who had made the decision not to have children.
Hmm.
But if you're in a quandary about whether or not, I'd say right now, freeze your eggs. I mean, it wasn't an option at the time, or it wasn't a big something that was really talked about. But
Yes.
if it were me back then, I might have frozen my eggs.
Hmm.
I don't know if I had that choice.
And that's a
But
good, yeah, that's a good option for women nowadays because it's a thing now.
right, but I don't know what it costs or anything like what it means. But in as far as doing it, but it wasn't really a big choice for me back then.
Yeah.
But if you don't know and you're not sure, don't have kids just because you're not sure. Freeze your eggs.
Isn't that the truth? Don't have them because you're not sure.
Right, right.
Oh my goodness. But I
But I do love
appreciate that. You do
I
what?
do love I do love children, and later on we'll talk about. I'm actually writing a children's book right now, but
Yes.
yeah, but I do. It just never wanted my own.
You know, women who have chosen not to have children make the greatest aunties ever. All of my friends who have made the choice to not have children, they are just absolutely the best caregivers ever, and it's amazing to me, and it's almost like they have so much love to give that they just give it freely to everyone, and not just to one child or two children or however many children people have to decide to have. And so I totally understand you, and I've seen you around children, and what we'll talk about later. It's something that I have observed, and it's wonderful, absolutely. And just to make a segue, Crazy Sexy Menopause focuses heavily on what we call the three M's: mindset, meals, and movement. And that's our foundation of having a vibrant life. So, in your experience, is there an optimal way that you have found to ease into making these changes and making changes in your life in these three areas?
Oh. Easing into anything that's new for me, I always get myself a teacher or a coach. It's just,
Ah.
it's just the way I'll give you an example. I needed to get back into my routine of working out. So in
Mm-hmm.
order to do that, I got myself a coach to get me going. I needed to
Good.
get my spirituality. I got myself, I got myself a coach. I'm more of a reclusive than an introvert, although it seems like I'm extroverted. I'm very reclusive. So I tend to like to do private coaching first and then move into groups. And so I'm also a member, I'm a member of a conscious aging group right now that we meet every week and talk about different issues. But for me, if I can't get motivated and move into something, I will look for somebody who's wiser and knows more about what it is than I do. And even if it's just one session, to be able to get a sense of, okay, I can break through this. And someone will have more, and usually coaches have a lot more confidence in my ability than I do when I first start.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn how to get a hula hoop up around my shoulders. So I'm taking hula hoop lessons now.
Well, you know what? That brings us to some footage that we have of you actually moving your body. And so I'm going to start sharing a little here, and you can just tell us what's going on here. Now,
You got it.
I will now, Miss Janis. We are looking at you roller skating. How long have you been roller skating?
Well, I was roller skating when I I roller skated before I moved here in 78.
Okay.
And I used to roller skate 3 times a week as a sport.
Wow.
I have not, what you're looking at now, I have not been on skates in 20 years.
What?
So, yeah.
Get out of here.
I went to Kake and we just went out and we did it.
Oh, my goodness.
But
What?
I couldn't tell my relatives, because they don't want me on stakes. They're all, this is one of those things where you can't listen.
Yes.
Years, so I just kept it to myself until the video where I took a video and then I showed it to them. You're skating? You're skating at your age?
Oh,
so
no.
What you take in.
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Now I'm showing you with the ribbons now. You are doing the ribbon dancing.
That was so that was 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago. And then if you've got, I think you have footage of me doing that. The form that I do in dance is called contact improvisation.
Okay.
So athletic. I mean, I used to do capoeira, but I hated getting kicked.
Oh.
So this was the closest dance form to capoeira. And so it is something that if you show that video, you'll see me getting up on shoulders, or we're just using each other's energy and movement to do the dance. So there's technique, but you just never know where you're going to wind up, on someone's shoulders or whatever.
Wow, it's amazing to see how you keep the ribbons going. I love that. And the beautiful form, it's wonderful. I love to see the rhythmic dancing in the Olympics, and that's what this reminds me of. It's beautiful. Now we also have you dancing. Now you're getting on the guy's shoulder. You are so brave. I love this. Tell me about this.
So that's part of contact improvisation.
Okay.
There's a technique, and you do shoulder work, you do floor work, you use each other's bodies and rhythm and energy you share an energy, and you find that point in the energetic where people are weightless. So me getting on someone's shoulders, I can also get someone up on my shoulders.
Oh.
Because that set point where people weigh nothing. If you know how to, when you're using movement and also sharing energy, so that that person weighs nothing, but getting up on the shoulder, I can still do that.
Wow. And so is this kind of like Aikido, I believe it is? Where you're using the person's energy to go with, as opposed to fighting against it?
Yeah, think of contact improvisation as a combination of Aikido and modern dance.
Yes.
And
yes.
freestyle.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And now we look at you. You're hiking.
All
You're
right.
hiking and you're on the
Yeah,
Pilates. Now, which Pilates machine is this?
this is on Lake Shore where I live in Oakland.
No,
So
the is this the Cadillac or what type of equipment is this?
I know it's a reformer
Oh, the
excuse
reformer.
the reformer. Yes.
Yeah.
So I do that once a week, and I do that. I do a private lesson. Well, first of all, because I'm blessed that I can do that. But
Mhm.
also, I went for a lesson, and they were moving too fast for me, and I wasn't getting the attention that I wanted. So I said, you know what? It's okay if I feel like they're moving too fast for me.
Mhm.
I didn't get upset, or I said what I need is private lessons. So where I put my where I spend my money and all that. If I looked at it, it's more around keeping myself healthy and
Mm.
doing things that move me forward in my physical abilities and also in my spirituality.
Yeah, and we all know how important it is to move. It is
Yeah.
so important to move, to keep those joints moving, to keep maintain that mobility, that stability, the flexibility, all of the ilities. We've got to keep them going.
Your body, every time we move, that your body chemistry changes.
Yeah.
So if we're sitting with body chemistry, and especially in the middle of menopause, and we want to bring up our dopamine or bring up our endorphin, we can't move or we have an injury, putting on music and just moving in your seat to be
Mm-hmm.
able to change your chemical cocktail. And we have the ability to change our chemical cocktail. And what I know, a lot of times I'll start to have a certain feeling and I go, wait a minute, that's just my chemical cocktail. What was I thinking to make that shift in the chemistry of my body? And
Mm-hmm.
in that way, it's clearer to me that it isn't me, it isn't my
Mm-hmm.
character, it's my body right now that's taking me on this journey. And if I can step back and get connected again and do what I can to change that chemical cocktail, it changes my mood.
Yeah,
So
it's so
so
important to know that about your body
yeah,
so that you
yeah,
can recognize it when it's happening to you and you can put it in check.
yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
there's a there's a I don't know if you've heard of the 90-second rule, where whenever you have something happen in that you're about to react, what
Mm-hmm.
happens is you get your chemistry changes. You get a big surge of cortisol, and that cortisol changes how you make decisions. But if you wait 90 seconds before you take your move, to make before you make your decision, wait that 90 seconds, the cortisol comes down and you have a different perspective. So a lot of times I'm clear that things that are going on are chemistry and not who I am and my character, not to blame me.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And to that, I'm sure that speaks to some of the work that you do. So, among your many credentials, you're a certified dream builder coach with Life Mastery Institute. And so, what I want to know is, what is dream building, and how can this method help menopausal women in particular?
Um, First and foremost, well, when I think about dream building, I think about what are my longings and my discontent? What is it in my life that is not working, and how can I shift that into what I would love?
Hmm.
So it's very easy for us to look at what we would love to have, what our longings and discontent are, and it's a lot harder for us to answer the question, what would I love? Because usually it's like, what would I like? What do I think other people think I should love? What do I think
Yes.
I deserve to love? But to be able to say, what would I love? And so the way that you get there is sometimes looking at what your longings and discontent are. So, for instance, if I would love to, I have poor communication with my partner, and so that's a discontent, and I long to be able to have a smoother conversation. That's longing and discontent. So my vision, if I'm when I'm writing my vision statement is, and I always wrap it in gratitude, and the vision is always done in the present tense. And I'm not going to give you a lesson in how to write a vision statement, but the statement would be, I'm so happy and grateful now that my communication is fluid and comfortable and loving with me and my partner. So if I'm reading that every day, I'm setting a certain vibration and a certain mentality that I can then bring with me throughout the day. So it's being able to know what it is that you would love, being able to know also that you're not a victim of your circumstances. We're far more powerful than we know. When we're in the middle of menopause, we don't feel very powerful. We don't have that sense of, vibrant woman. So to be able to have a vision statement, to be able to read that every single day of what it is that you would love, and then having the action items around that, and to also have a support system so you're not the Lone Ranger. Because a lot of
Yeah.
I can do this alone, and I used to be one of those. It's like, you can't tell me what to do. And it's like, even when I used to be a therapist, and when I go to my own therapist, it's like, I know more than this therapist. And boy, that's where I lost out, because I wasn't able to make use of the wisdom of other people.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's been there before me. I don't want to have to reinvent the wheel. So
That's
so
right.
dream building is actually, it's different programs and ways in which you write a vision statement, where you begin to look at what your paradigms are, what's in the way, and to recognize that. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
step by step process that allows you to really move into a life that you would love. And I'm talking about one that you would love, not what you think you deserve to have. Because if we went there, a lot of us wouldn't even write it down.
Oh, that's right. And to that point, we have to know what we don't want in order to know what in order to discover what we do want and what we do love. And you're right, there are a lot of people who don't even take the time to make that, to go through that introspection to determine, well, what is it that I really love, what lights me up. and
Mm-hmm.
and it's a profound question that, we're, and because sometimes we live so far, so in on the superficial, that
Yeah.
we never get to that point where we're like, okay, this is what I really like. And you're right, there are times when we feel like, I don't deserve this. I'm not worthy of it. And I'm too old, or I'm too this, or I'm too that to want that for myself. And why not? Why not? We're on this earth for this reason. So why not do it? And
It,
especially during the menopausal years and postmenopause, what's stopping you?
yeah. And it's easier for people to look at what they don't like in their life, and to be able to recite that. So when I first work with people,
Yes.
have them tell me what's going on, what's not working, and then to turn it around, and to change what's not working into what would it look like if it was. They
Yes.
get a sense of, it's a different vibration, and I'm very much into vibration and frequency, and living my life at a certain vibration, and being aware of where my vibration is, even physically. Sometimes if I'm feeling, like kind of concave, I'll go, oh, what's going on? So that what we want to be able able to do is be aware of our thinking and notice our thinking, and then
Mm-hmm.
to take another turn, to redirect. But unless we are aware of it, then it's just going to be what's running us. So
Yeah.
this is tools and strategies of awareness and how to change direction
Yeah.
and to
Oh,
really
yeah.
know that we are not a victim of our circumstances. The one thing I can say about menopause and is this too shall pass. It
Yes.
does
That
it
is
does.
so
And
true.
what it's done, think about all the freedom you've got.
Right, right. Now, so many menopausal women are what I call hyper conscious about their age, and we are not them. But and that is that they're focused on growing old or being old in a way that's contrary to the idea of living vibrantly. So, in your role as a conscious aging facilitator, please describe what that is, and how does the idea of conscious aging reframe the limited mental image of aging that many women have?
I think one of the first things that we need to do is look at what's our ageism. What are we telling
Yeah.
ourselves? What do
Ooh,
we
that's
believe?
good.
Because it's an inside job in order to be able to take a look at what you believe. They're going, oh, old women shouldn't be doing that, or older women shouldn't this, or they aging, or ooh, look at that. Looking. I remember. I even remember when I was out of my relationship and I started dating. Well, I was going to start dating again, and I was looking at all of these gray-haired men, and I'm thinking, that's my dating pool now. I'd been in a marriage for like 13 years and then came out. It was like, oh, my new dating is gray hair. So for me well, what was my ageism around gray hair? What
Ooh.
was my age around me having to date older, men who looked like that, and they're my age, so I had a lot of ageism that I had to work through so that when it was in front of me and coming in, I could recognize it as such and put up the boundaries so that I didn't take it in again. It's what is it? All the water in the world won't drown you as long as you don't take it in. Was that Eleanor Roosevelt said
Yeah.
that? So that nothing coming into me
Wow.
could really change how I feel, and I really looking constantly, and this is what this conscious aging group that I'm in, we are reading articles, and we read and we watch videos around aging, and then we have discussions of it. And this group is anywhere from from 60 to like 90s,
Okay.
and really get and that we're all over the United States. There isn't anybody outside of the United States,
Mm-hmm.
but that we are all looking at what do we hold internally around aging, and once you can let that go, when you hear it, it can't touch you.
That is so profound, because when we think about ageism, we're also always thinking about it, or at least I was thinking about it from the outside in. How are people perceiving me, or even looking at job situations. Oh, I'm not qualified because I'm too old, or oh, they didn't hire me because I'm the age that I am, or I have too much experience. And so, internalizing that is really detrimental, because, and that's me thinking that on my own. That's my thoughts and my limited thinking. So as long as I'm projecting a positive vibration and of youthfulness, why would someone think that that's not who I am? So that is, wow,
Yeah,
we
internalized,
really do need to think of ourselves.
yeah, that's internalized ageism, and that the first step is to look at what our perspective is on getting older. And you know, and sometimes it shifts. It's like a lot of times if my ankle is bothering me and I can't go walking, I could
Mm-hmm.
easily get, you know, like, oh, I'm old. And then instead I'm looking at, I try and couch it as an athlete, you just, you know, you have to keep yourself in good condition. So you're going to stay off your foot, but this is what you're doing this so that you can walk again.
Mm-hmm.
There, and I want to say, just for anybody who is has any kind of debilitating disease or anything like that, what's really important is, and it's going off in a, I'm going to go about feeling like you're of value. That the
Mm-hmm.
most important thing to stay vibrant is to know your value, to feel that you are valued. And for
Yes.
me, that means service, being able to be, because at this age, to be able to give away all the wisdom that I have and whatever. So service is important. It's important for me to feel that I make a difference. And so even if those people who really can't get out there and move, there may be something else that they can do in order to feel that they are giving back.
Yeah. Now I'm looking at the chat here, and I have Magnolia Carter, and she had a comment about the dating pool. So I'm wondering what that's all about. And she also says that she would like the info on the conscious aging group. So she looks like she wants to join. So tell us if there's a way to, for her to connect with the group. Is it open to the public, and is there something that we can put in the description below at the end to have her connect? What
This
is?
Well, let's do this. If you can get her information, then what I will do is I will connect with the person who's running the group,
Mm-hmm.
and then find out what everybody is welcome. But I just need to get. I have the link with me, but I will, or she can. I'll give it to you, and you can give it to her.
Okay.
Magnolia, you are welcome to join the group. I just need to get the protocol of bringing someone into the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot, I might join.
Yeah, you would be welcome.
Absolutely.
It's called courageous aging.
Courageous aging. I love that. I absolutely love that. And she also, now, Maggie, you got to speak a little bit more about the dating pool. What do you mean? Because I know, now, did you ever date younger men?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, it seems like most of my relationships, the men were like about 10 years younger than me,
Oh, okay.
or
Go
that's
ahead
probably,
on, Cougar.
but it just worked out that way. It wasn't like I was looking. But
Mhm.
what I noticed is I had done online dating for years and years and years ago. And then when I
Mhm.
was about to do it again, I said, well, I'm not going to lie about my age. So when I put in my age, what you get back is men who are 80 or 85 or a lot older. And I went, I don't think this is gonna work
Right.
for me. But I wasn't gonna lie about my age. So even though it's like you could say I'm a very vibrant 75, but people
Yeah,
still
you're still gonna get that. So where do you go to meet men?
I right now I'm just doing my regular social. I go to dance, and I have friends that will introduce me, but I'm not really. It's kind of like just being open and allowing it to come.
Mm-hmm.
My vision statement. I have a whole paragraph around my partner and my relationship and what that looks like. And it seems like any especially in the past 10 years, any dating that I've had has come through meeting someone by chance.
Ah,
So being
okay.
open to it and then meeting it by chance, but that doesn't mean that doing something like silver singles or, the older dating, you can do
Mhm.
something like that. I just found that at this point in time, I'm done with that.
Maggie says, I had the same experiences of noticing that I didn't want to date old men.
Yeah.
And
Or
no, go ahead.
my favorite thing is when I'll see like a handsome man or just a beautiful person. Let's put it at
Yeah,
this point
yeah,
in my life, no matter what gender you are, when
right.
somebody who's beautiful comes by, and I'll turn my head and I'll go, "You're old enough to be their mother or their grandmother." So it's like that part of me, that juicy, sexy part of me, still exists, and
Yeah,
the action is like, okay, I can still appreciate that.
yeah. Well, now I met my husband at church, and actually it was a hookup.
Uh-huh.
Because I had no clue, and I didn't want to be presumptuous, and so my friend actually hooked me up with the man who has now become my husband. So, and I dated a younger man once in my life, while after I was divorced, and that didn't work out. And I said, well, I'm not going to date younger men anymore. And fortunately, my husband and I are exactly the same age. And so we have the same interests. We laugh at the same things. When we think about the good old days, we both know what we're talking about.
Well,
So,
I think more than 10 years. I had one where it was 10 years, but there's still enough generational.
yes.
But I haven't quite cougared it. Yeah, that's not. I think that would. I don't know if I would be ready for something like that. I'm
Yeah.
more. I'm interested more really in the companionship, someone who can keep up physically, and
Yes.
that likes to do different things,
Yeah.
and also is kind, and you know.
Maggie says she realized she was the age of these old men.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, that's my dating pool. How does that happen? And to be able to accept that, and know that, and that's okay.
Yeah, yeah. But
But
I like what you said when he's got to keep up,
yeah,
You don't want to be carrying him along. But he's got to keep up because you're vibrant, and you're living life and you're living large and having fun, and you want a companion that can have fun with you. So I totally understand.
but to know that, when you're going through menopause, or even the perimenopause, the things that we're feeling feel so real and feels like it's never going to end. And that's why being able to be in a group or talk to someone and keep up with any kind of reading and affirmations, and being able to read something every single day
Yeah.
about what it is that you will see coming to you is going
Mm.
to be really, really important. Now, I never had children, so I had the benefit of, I didn't have to get up and feed my kids and not have time for myself in that way. I did have time for myself, but as I moved into my spiritual practice, I found that I had to start getting up much earlier in order to have my practice, because my practice is
Hmm.
like, uh, I meditate every morning for about 2 hours, and then I
Oh,
do my
nice.
and all that. And my vision statement, the first line in my vision statement was, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have all the time that I like to pray, meditate, read, and write. But it wasn't
Mm.
happening because I would get up at 8 o'clock and try to shoehorn in all the things that I wanted to do, and then get going. So I'm meditating like this, trying to get going. So I started getting up at 4 in the morning, and it's like, and this has been going on. Now it's a good 6 years that I've been getting up this early, but it's like brushing my teeth. Now it's I don't
Mm.
even think about it. If I have a later appointment, I'll get up at 5. But I was not a morning person. But now it's a sacred time for me. So what I'm saying is, if you have kids, if you're in the middle of all this and you think you don't have time, get up, try and get up a little bit earlier so you have that sacred time.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. There's it's one mind, because here at Crazy Sexy Menopause, we place a lot of focus on how menopausal women can shift their experience of life through good nutrition and exercise, but we also inspire them to develop a mindset, a positive mindset, and related to this positive mindset is another dimension of life that you help people get in touch with, and that's the spirituality. So what spiritual practices have you found to be helpful to inspire vibrant living in menopausal women, aside from like what you've just shared in terms of getting up in the morning and meditating first?
Well, meditation for me is key, but also
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest the biggest thing I can say about it is that I don't I don't ask myself any any questions. I ask the infinite intelligent question, because it's like I don't ask the Janice mind doesn't know. But what I do know is that there's infinite information out there that I can download, and I can download it by when I'm dancing, or I download it when I'm walking, or I download when I'm meditating. That there that I If I just know that the answer will come if I'm open to it. So I'm not going to ask the Janice
Yes.
mind. I'll get a brain hemorrhoid trying to work it out. It's like not something that I'm the one who's caused the issue. It's like, what does Einstein say? It's like, you never, uh, try to solve the problem at the level that you created it. So if I have something that I want to know the answer to, I stop, I get quiet, and I allow the answer to come. So even if you don't have time for a formal meditation or anything like that, then what you want to be able to do is find a quiet place and allow the answer to come, because knowing that we're spiritual beings in human form, and that
Mm-hmm.
the answer is there. There's so much noise in the way sometimes of getting that answer. So going quiet
Yeah,
is yeah.
I know that I always say that prayer is us talking to God, and meditation is God speaking to us.
Yeah.
So, what would you say to a menopausal woman to inspire her to explore her spiritual side?
Um, that if you've ever had the experience of your intuition happening
Hmm.
and right answer, and that it's like, how did I know that? Well, can you imagine being in that place a lot, where you are constantly in touch with the answers that you want just by being quiet? So I'm thinking that if you're, what would inspire you to actually, I'm trying to think about to know that you're not alone and that the answers are available, but also to know that you are absolutely worthy of
Yes.
all the good that there's nothing that you've ever done, nothing you've ever said, nothing anybody's ever said about you or to you that can keep you from your good. Because we're
Yes.
all children of spirit. We're all deserving of our good. And when we know that and when we come from that place, it's a different vibration than coming from lack. So if you really want to move into a place where there's to know self-love,
Mm-hmm.
then that's spiritual practice. So if you're
Yes.
wanting some self-love, look into it. And it doesn't have to be, again, not everybody's going to want to meditate 2 hours every day.
That.
Just 20 minutes is fine. And some people don't want to meditate, but it could be a walk. Find something that you lose time with.
Yes.
Something that
Yes.
you're about.
Now, in addition to your spiritual coach, in addition to your coaching, your active lifestyle, and your spiritual work, you're also a brilliant artist. So, and you're an artist in every sense of the word. Every sense of the word. I mean, you paint, you craft, you draw, you're a designer. I mean, you've got all of all of these talents under the umbrella of artistry, and you dance. So, among other things, you have this children's book that you're working on. Tell us about that. I'm excited about that.
This is, I've always been an artist of some sort, but I've also been very left brain, right brain. So I got into the technology and the training field, but art has always been something that no matter what I did, I was able to like design PowerPoints for people. So there's always a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
But last year, I decided that I really want to get back to drawing. And I had created a children's alphabet over 40 years ago called
Oh,
the
wow.
Alphabrats. And I used to do kids' names, like custom names with the
Mm-hmm.
Alphabrats. And then nothing happened with it for many years. And I said, there's a new digital program that I want to learn on my iPad. And I would love to get back to sketching. So what did I do? I found a teacher in San Diego, and he began to teach me the application. It's called Procreate on the iPad. So I needed a project. So I said, you know what? I'm going to bring the Alpha Brats into the digital world. And
Nice.
I started to draw them digitally. And as I started doing that, and we had to change the name to Alpha Scamps, and that's a funny story, but not for here. But so we now I have the Alpha Scamps, and the book that I'm writing is called the Alpha Scamps Big Word Book, and it's I don't know if I wonder if you could see. This is one of my mock-ups. I wonder if you could see this. Can you see that?
Yes, that's beautiful.
So what it
Oh, I love that.
alpha an alpha scamp on the left side, and on the right side is a 4-line poem that I wrote
Mm-hmm.
that tells, that describes what's going on the left-hand side, but also there are 3 or 4 big words that begin with that letter that will be in a glossary at the end of the book. So kids who know their letters but are learning new words
Mm-hmm.
are able to do that. And there's these guys are the scampanions. So I don't know if you can see
A little
here.
bit, yeah. Now,
Little
what
guys,
what age group is the book for?
probably about probably 6 to 8.
Okay,
Yeah, but I'm also,
beautiful.
like merchandising for it and doing kids' names and doing tiles. I don't know if you can see the
Nice.
tiles.
Oh, that's lovely. I love
So you stick
that.
them up on the wall. But it's evolved. I mean, all I was doing was learning Procreate a year ago. And now, and
Yes.
itself has evolved where before it was just the alpha scamps. Then I developed the little characters called the Scampanions, and now I'm doing rhyming, and now I'm part of a mastermind of publish, people who write and get published. So it's a whole new industry for me, but I'm loving
Yes.
it. I mean, it's like I used to write technology. I did a lot of writing, but not for kids. And I realized I'm
Ah.
really still a kid.
Yeah.
They make me laugh.
Yes, that youthfulness oozes out of you. I love it. I absolutely love it. And Janis, it's been such a pleasure talking with you today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I appreciate the generosity of your time and helping me as I celebrate National Menopause Month. Now, if anyone would like to connect with you to find out more about the book or your coaching, how can they do so?
They can reach me at my email. Um, I think the easiest one is janis.richman@gmail.com. I don't know if we can put that up there, or they can contact you, and then you can feel free to give them my email.
Okay, I will actually put it in the description so that if anyone wants to find out more about your coaching or your book and when it's coming out and all of the merch that's associated with it, because the holidays are coming up. The holidays are coming up, so we love it. It's brilliant. It's beautiful, and we want people to support you. So yes, I love that.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm really, with the help of you, more people will know about living vibrantly as we age and move through this menopausal transition. So, thank you so much for hanging with me today. I am sending you a virtual hug. And if you want to see more content like this, click subscribe and the notifications bell. Or if you have a topic that you'd like me to address, please leave a comment below. And see you soon. And always remember, it's your life. Live it well.